Good afternoon, and welcome to The Big Question, the show where we discuss the important topics for our society. Today, we're asking a question that affects how we all live and move. Should our cities prioritize public transport over private cars? To help us understand this complex issue, we have two excellent guests with us. On one side, we have Leo, an urban planner and a strong advocate for creating sustainable cities. Welcome, Leo. And on the other side, we have Maria, who represents a small business association. She understands the daily needs of commuters and local commerce. Welcome to you, Maria.
Thank you for having me, Sarah. I'm happy to be here to talk about this important subject.
Thank you, Sarah. It's a pleasure to join the discussion.
We'll begin with opening statements from each of you. Leo, let's start with you. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. I believe that we absolutely must prioritize public transport for a better, cleaner, and fairer future for everyone living in our cities. Right now, our cities have a serious problem with air pollution and constant traffic. This isn't just an inconvenience, it's a risk to our health and the environment. Private cars are one of the biggest reasons for this problem. They fill our streets, they make noise, and they pollute the air we breathe. The solution is clear, and it's available to us. More buses, more trams, and more trains mean fewer cars on the road. This directly leads to cleaner air for our children to breathe, and quieter, more peaceful streets for our communities to enjoy. But this isn't only about the environment. It's also about social and economic fairness. A good public transport system is for everyone, regardless of their income. It helps people who can't afford to buy or maintain a car. These are people who need to get to work, to school, to hospital appointments, or to visit their families. Good transport is essential for their lives. Furthermore, using public transport saves people a lot of money on petrol, insurance, and car maintenance. This money can then be spent on other important things, like food, housing, or education. And when we reduce the amount of traffic, everyone saves time. We spend less of our day sitting in a car, feeling stressed and frustrated. I want you to imagine a city where you can get anywhere you need to go quickly, safely, and cheaply. Imagine a city where children can play outside without constant danger from traffic. By investing more in our public transport systems, we can make this vision real. This is about designing cities for people, not just for cars.
Thank you, Leo. A very clear position. Maria will now hear your opening statement. You also have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Sarah. I agree that good public transport is a useful part of any city, but I believe the private car remains essential for personal freedom, for convenience, and for our economy. Prioritizing public transport to the point where it punishes car drivers is a mistake that will negatively affect many people. First, let's talk about freedom and convenience. My car allows me to go exactly where I want, precisely when I want. I can visit my elderly parents who live in the countryside, where there's no train station and the bus comes only twice a day. I can do a big food shop for my family once a week and carry it all home easily. If there's a family emergency in the middle of the night, my car is there. Public transport simply cannot offer this level of flexibility and freedom. Second, the private car is vital for our economy. As a small business owner, my car isn't a luxury. It's a necessary tool. I use it to deliver my products to customers all over the city. I can't ask my customers to wait for a bus schedule to receive their goods. Think about all the other people who need their vehicles for their jobs. Builders with their tools, salespeople with their samples, plumbers, electricians. Their work is impossible without a car or van. Finally, we must be realistic about the limitations of public transport. Leo's vision is nice, but it's not the reality for many people. Public transport networks are usually focused on the city center. If you live or work outside of this central area, the service can be very slow, or it might not be available at all. Forcing people to depend on a system that doesn't serve their needs isn't practical. It makes their daily lives more difficult, not easier. The car gives people independence. We shouldn't take that away.
Thank you, Maria. Now that we've heard both opening statements, we can begin our discussion. I'd like to ask you both some questions. Maria, I'll start with you. Leo spoke very passionately about the serious problems of pollution and traffic in our cities. He described them as a health risk. From your perspective, are the convenience and freedom of private cars worth these significant negative effects for the whole community?
That's a fair question, and I want to be clear. Pollution and traffic are serious issues, and I agree that we must find solutions. However, the solution isn't to punish car drivers or to make their lives more difficult. The correct path is to support better and cleaner technology. We're already seeing progress. More and more people are choosing to buy electric cars, which are very clean at the point of use, and are also much quieter. Instead of spending all our money on new bus lanes that increase traffic for cars, we should invest in building a network of fast charging stations for electric vehicles. This encourages a positive change. This way, we can solve the pollution problem without taking away the freedom that cars provide. And we must remember that public transport isn't a perfect solution for everyone. Think about a parent with 2 young children and a stroller. Is it really more effective or safer for them to wait for a bus in the rain and then try to manage the children and the shopping on a crowded vehicle? A car provides a safe, controlled, and practical space for a family. We need to focus on making cars better and cleaner, not on making life harder for the people who depend on them every single day.
Thank you, Maria. Leo, I'd like to turn to you now. Maria raised some very important points about personal freedom and the practical fact that public transport doesn't work for everyone. She mentioned people in rural areas, families with children, or people with specific jobs. How can you justify prioritizing a system that could limit people's choices and make life more difficult for them?
That's a very important question, and I'm glad you asked it. It allows me to clarify my position. When I say we should prioritize public transport, this doesn't mean we should ban private cars. Cars will always have a place for emergencies, for certain businesses, and for traveling to remote places. However, the problem today is that for millions of people, there's no real choice. They're forced to own a car. They must buy a car because the bus is too slow, the train is too expensive, or the service is unreliable and doesn't run in the evenings or on weekends. This isn't a real choice. It's a transport monopoly by the private car. My goal is to break this monopoly. If we invest money to create a fast, clean, frequent, and safe public transport network, we give people a genuine, practical choice. I'm certain that many people would be happy to leave their car at home for their daily commute if the bus or train was a better option. And a modern transport system is incredibly convenient. Think of a direct tram to your office that arrives every 5 minutes. You can read a book or listen to music instead of sitting in traffic. That's a much more convenient and relaxing way to start your day than being stuck in a traffic jam, worrying about being late. We're giving people back their time and reducing their stress.
We're moving towards the end of our discussion. I'd now like to ask you both for a short closing statement to summarize your views. Maria, you can go first.
Thank you. I believe we can all agree that we want cleaner, more efficient, and less congested cities. We share the same goal. But the answer isn't to go backwards by restricting the use of a technology that has given so much freedom to so many people. The answer is to move forward with better technology and more choice. Let's support the development of cleaner, safer, and more affordable electric cars. Let's invest in smart road systems that manage traffic better. And yes, let's also improve public transport as one part of a larger, more flexible system. But we must protect the freedom of individuals and businesses to choose the transport that works best for them. The future should be about giving people more choices, not fewer. It should be about trusting them to make the right decision for their own lives.
Thank you, Maria. And now for your closing statement, Leo.
The choices we make today as a society will build the world of tomorrow. We're at a crossroads. We can continue on the current path, with noisy, polluted cities that are full of traffic and stress. Or we can choose a different, smarter path. By prioritizing public transport, we're making a direct investment in our health, our environment, and in the strength of our community. We create cities that are easier and fairer for everyone, especially for the young, the elderly, and those with lower incomes. We connect people and communities. It's not about taking away freedom. It's about creating a better, happier, and healthier future for all of us. It's the smartest investment we can make.
Thank you, Leo and Maria, for a very interesting and thoughtful discussion today. We've heard strong arguments for both the personal freedom offered by the private car and for the significant community benefits of a high-quality public transport system. That's all the time we have for today on The Big Question. Thank you for watching. Good afternoon.